Imagine waking up to find that something gigantic crossed your city's river overnight. Security cameras only captured a shadow, long, curved, and a deafening sound that made the windows vibrate. That's how it all begins. If you love stories where reality bends before the impossible, consider subscribing now so you don't miss any episode like this. Because what is about to happen is not just scary, it is transformative. The first real sighting happens in a quiet harbor just before dawn. A fisherman, accustomed to the silence, notices the water rising as if something were pushing the ocean aside. He almost thinks it's a cargo ship until he sees the sail, a living sail, massive, and moving against the current. The Spinosaurus is no ordinary animal. It acts as if it has a purpose, patrolling banks, following urban water flows, using rivers, canals, and drainage stations as natural tunnels. It doesn't take long until it reaches the first big city. And, as always happens, the chaos begins not with a roar, but with silence. A rescue team finds deep marks in the concrete, as if enormous blades had sliced through the wet ground. One of them is almost 18 inches deep, and before they can isolate the area, the monster reappears. Emerging from a storm-drained tunnel, raising a wall of water that hits parked cars, knocking down utility poles and blacking out the entire street. Meanwhile, live broadcasts explode. Some people record, others run, others move closer. And that's where a new problem is born. Urban clans begin to form. Improvised armed groups try to protect neighborhoods, but without any real preparation. They believe they can face a 50-foot predator, with powerful flashlights, noisy drones, and small weapons. And as always, ignorance takes its toll. In one of these ambush attempts, a group tries to lure the Spinosaurus into a flooded alley. But when the drone illuminates the location, they realize too late that they are not alone. Another smaller predator, perhaps attracted by the same chaos, appears among the cars. And for the first time, two giant monsters compete for territory amidst the narrow streets. The fight breaks walls, destroys facades, and launches pieces of concrete through the air like gravel. Sirens blare from all sides, and military teams try to surround the area. But how do you contain something that uses the city's very waters as its private roads? By the way, if you've ever imagined what it would be like to see modern armed forces face-to-face with something this size, leave a comment. I want to know which scenario you think would have the best chance of working. Blockades, traps, helicopters? Or would nothing be enough? Meanwhile, the Spinosaurus returns to the main canal. It dives and reappears a few blocks away, in the area taken over by the flood. Children cry, parents try to drive cars out of the water, and the monstrous predator moves like a submarine of flesh and bone, invisible, until it decides to attack. The tension reaches its peak when it emerges behind a partially submerged bus. Passengers bang on the windows, desperately trying to see what is happening. But what appears to them is only the immense sail emerging, illuminated by the abandoned headlights on the street. It is at that moment that the military teams finally manage to act, using spotlights to drive it away, trying to guide it back to the river. And here, at the height of the chaos, if you haven't left a like yet, do it now. Not just to support, but because this type of story depends on you to keep reaching those who love this kind of simulation. After hours chasing the monster through the city's waters, something unexpected happens. The Spinosaurus climbs a concrete ramp and stops at the top of a bridge. The rain falls heavy. The red lights flash. And for the first time, it observes the entire city from above, silent, motionless, as if meditating on a new territory. But the question no one wants to ask finally arises. Is it fleeing, or is it hunting? And while the authorities try to predict its next moves, the doubt that haunts us until now remains. If a single Spinosaurus can turn an ordinary day into a national collapse, what would happen if there were more than one? If you want part 2, where we explore what would happen if this predator encountered a metropolis full of underground tunnels, subscribe now. You won't want to miss what comes next.